Wrestling Omakase brings you a full-course meal of all of Japanese wrestling, men's and women's. Join me, a Japanese wrestling fan for over 20 years, along with a rotating cast of equally knowledgeable co-hosts, as we cover everything from New Japan and Stardom to Noah, All Japan, DDT, Tokyo Joshi, Mari Gold, Sendai Girls, Dragon Gate, GLEAT, Ice Ribbon, and even more stuff. If you're a fan of Japanese wrestling and you want coverage of the entire scene in one podcast, check us out right here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network each and every week. Get us wherever you get podcasts today.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Music of the Mat Remix on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network. I'm your host, Andrew Rich, joined today by a returning guest. He is the host of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show and a contributor at Voices of Wrestling. It's Warren Hayes. Hello again, Warren.
Hello again. Thank you for having me, Andrew. It's always a good time to come talk about quote-unquote wrestling with you in the most tenuous way possible.
Of course. Glad to have you back here. We're doing this in the middle of the World Cup, happening in both of our countries, the U.S. and Canada, as well as Mexico. Are you following along with the beautiful game, as they say, Warren?
No, I'll be completely honest. Very, 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 very boring. Yes, I have not, other than the fact that from what I understand, Canada's doing quite well. But there was a time many years ago where I would follow the World Cup a lot more. I'm happy that Canada is doing well, but if I'm not mistaken, Andrew, like this is a year where they've expanded the fields, right? Like a lot of teams who usually don't make it to the World Cup are in the World Cup this year because it's like a 32 team tournament or something like that, right? So
yeah, the knockout stage started with 32. Yeah, so it's like I'm glad Canada's doing well, but in the past, we wouldn't even sniff the World Cup most years. So it's fine. I mean, go team. I'm excited, and the country is excited about it as well. So I'll share that excitement at the very least, even though I'm not quite sure what's going on outside of the hydration breaks, which is apparently like the big thing in the meme, right? Doing all the hydration breaks everywhere. Yeah, it's just a way to get more ads in, because that's the way everything is nowadays. You can't go 2 seconds without an ad, or these companies will freak out. But
exactly.
But yeah, I'm not a big soccer guy myself, but I've been really enjoying the World Cup and all the drama and the excitement, and I like seeing the foreign fans, come over to the U.S. and cheer on their countries and bring a bit of their culture here and experience American culture and the food and whatnot. Especially here in Boston, where we've fallen in love with the Tartan Army, the Scottish fans, and vice versa. Forget New England, it's New Scotland now. It's amazing, and the whole tournament, it's really brought a lot of positive energy to the city, Warren. It's pretty cool.
No, I think it's a good vibe overall. Where I think that I think a lot of people, from what I've seen anyway, via social media and whatnot, and reshares, I feel like a lot of people coming from outside of the country are coming into the U.S. and just hanging out with people and realizing, hey, you know what? Like, Americans are very cool people, It's other instances of the country that make it seem less approachable. But, it's in my experience, regardless, people are people. And a lot of times they're just like most of the time they're very welcoming and cool. So I'm not really all that surprised. Look, last year, first time in Texas, I went to All In last year. It was my first time in Texas, and everyone was super nice. like, legitimately welcoming and whatnot. The kind of stereotype that you see on television shows, where it's everyone's super welcoming and come on, have a seat, have a drink, whatever the circumstance. And so sometimes social media and stuff and panic will create situations that aren't necessarily there. Now, that being said, I think if I sat down with these people and we started talking politics, it might be another story. But, sitting around, breaking bread, making you feel welcome. So, no, I'm from Canada. Oh, that's all the way up north. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like, they were excited at the idea that, I was this guy from the French area of Canada on top of that coming in for a visit. They were, say something in French to me. It's like, vous avez un très beau chapeau. You have a very nice hat. And they were like, it's just fun stuff. It was it's very welcoming in that aspect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's what all the comments that I've seen online. It's like, oh, America, it's so friendly here, and everybody's so nice and open. And so, yeah, it's nice to be reminded that, whatever bullshit's going on with world leaders and governments and administrations, most of the actual people of a country are decent and cool. So it's good to actually, meet those people, on a ground face-to-face level there. So, yeah.
I agree. Get that confirmation that we are just all humans after all type of thing.
Can't we all just get along, give peace a chance, that old chestnut? But anyway, today's episode here, it's called The Bloodline, a name that if I never heard again, it'd be too soon. It's the stable in WWE with a cornucopia of members over the past number of years. Roman Reigns, Jimmy and Jey Uso, Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa, Sami Zayn, The Rock, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, Tala Tonga, JC Mateo, Paul Heyman, Mo, Larry, Curly, Shemp, Groucho, Harpo, Chico, Gummo, Zeppo, Spanky, Alfalfa, Stymie, Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Jazz, Sideswipe, and so on and so forth. And I won't say that this topic is timely because the Bloodline saga, the Bloodline storyline, has been going on for literally years at this point. It's always been timely, like since 2020, the Thunderdome pandemic days here. And it's been 6 years of Roman and the Usos aren't aligned. Okay, now they are aligned, and Jey doesn't trust Roman, and Jimmy doesn't trust Jey, and the Usos are split up. Now they're back together. Now they're split up again. Now they're back together. And here comes Solo Sikoa, and Roman trusts him. Now he doesn't trust him. And here come the Tongans, and they're with the group. Now they're doing their own thing with Solo as the MFTs. And Jacob Fatu doesn't acknowledge Roman as the tribal chief. Now he does. And now we're at present day where Roman, the Usos, and Jacob Fatu are together, but the Usos don't trust Jacob, and oh my God in heaven, this thing just will not end, Warren.
That is the greatest Cliff Notes version of the Bloodline story I have ever heard. Congratulations on that, Warren. Andrew. Warren. That's me. That was legitimately fantastic. I didn't even know what's been going on in contemporary Bloodline, in the contemporary Bloodline saga. I did not know that we were still distrusting members of the Bloodline. It's exhausting how little things have really changed with all of this. We're just coming all the way back to start. It's incredible. A complete lack of creative foresight and just trying out new things. No, we're just coming back to the things that we were doing years ago. I mean, I guess all that's missing right now is a court jester type, right? Like a Sami Zayn type character to really make it feel like it once was. That's really all that's missing, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look,
maybe they should throw Danhausen into it.
Oh yeah, he's the hot ticket at the moment. They'd like to get some of that on their side.
Yeah, and then it'd be funny because then he could mess up He could mess up Roman's name. He could call him like Roman Legion or something like that. That'd be funny, right? Instead of calling him Roman Reigns,
Or Greek Reigns, we could switch up Greek and
Reigns,
Roman.
That's also one.
It's a natural joke right there.
Solo Cup, Sikoa, right? Solo Sikup. So,
this is gold, man.
Like
we're WWE take notes, baby. We got gold here.
We got it.
I mean, look, my favorite movie trilogy is Lord of the Rings, and people like to joke about Return of the King having like 6 endings. That is nothing compared to this Bloodline thing, man. This makes Return of the King look like a Vine video. Like, just when you think it might be over, it comes roaring back. And, I don't know if they want to just milk this thing as much as they possibly can because, that was the main storyline when WWE got hot a few years ago. Or if they're just lazy and creatively bankrupt and they can't think of anything else to do, but rehash the same story over and over again. Probably a bit of both. Probably a bit of column A, a bit of column B. But yeah, when you're going on 6 years of mid-match promos and guys side-eyeing each other and this guy turns, now that guy turns, now they're all back together, and after a while you just got to roll your eyes. And I don't even watch WWE, but because it's still the big thing going, we're all just going to hear about it constantly regardless, Warren.
Yeah, no, because it's big enough to generate that kind of attention where it's just like things happen and then everyone, even if you're not watching the product, there's stuff that's going to happen. You like you said, it's the kind of thing that always comes back. You think about Groundhog Day. I like to think of Happy Death Day. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
So I like to think of it more of Happy Death Day because it's like the killer always comes back. It's like, no, not this guy trying to poison my mind, or this situation trying to poison my mind again with this redundant storytelling. It's maybe one day it'll end. Maybe one day we'll finally reach the bottom of the ninth, Andrew. and the whole thing will finally end. But I mean, look, didn't Roman Reigns just reference the Shield in starting up a feud with Seth Rollins? Like, just as we're recording this, I think it just happened last night on Raw. And so I'm like, even the Shield stuff, even with one member away, thriving in another promotion, we're still bringing that back. And I would say that to a degree, there's something more interesting about that because at least they're not hammering the Shield relationship over and over again for long stretches for years at a time. They just like bring it back and whatnot. But look, we're always going back to the old stuff. It's as if the guy in charge can't come up with his own ideas.
Or the AI is on the fritz, either one.
Or the AI is on the fritz.
Yeah.
Or the AI is just doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Maybe we're giving the AI too much credit and saying, it must be, the AI must be broken. Maybe this is exactly what they wanted to do.
Mm. Now, the crux of the Bloodline, to quote Carrie Fisher, it's about family. And that's what's so powerful about it. It is a family stable, primarily made up of the Samoan Anoa'i family. But you also have the Maiavias and the Tongans in there who are not actually related, but they are, blood brothers. They're considered kin. Like you look at that family tree and there are just so many branches of that thing. And now we got I think Zilla Fatu coming in to WWE, and it's like, we're at the point where if they wanted to keep this thing going until 2035, there are more than enough Fatus and Anoa's to do that, Warren. It's crazy.
And who knows? Maybe they can just go back to the well and get all the Pacific Islanders they can too. They can also do that. I mean, that's what they were doing a couple of years ago. Then again, they got rid of some of those. Some of those inclusions, Jeff Cobb is back doing Jeff Cobb or being Jeff Cobb, and who knows what Tangaloa is going to be up to. I think you kind of get the impression that any Pacific Islander is finding a way to sort of get WWE's attention. They were like, hey, I can be part of this too, type of thing. Imagine if we had a jester Sami Zayn type, but was a Pacific Islander. I think that would be the key right there.
Look, I'll get a DNA test. If I get a little bit of that blood in me, I'll sign up. I'll get a paycheck. I don't mind.
And they'll welcome you with open arms too. They're like, come on.
Oh goodness. Well, speaking of family, as far as the music goes, we are playing songs by family bands. Family members in bands. It can be brothers, sisters, cousins, father and son, husband and wife, whatever the combination may be. They don't have to be the only people in the band, but there has to be at least 2 family members of some kind in the group. It actually reminded me of when I saw Genesis on their last tour, and Phil Collins' son Nick was playing drums, which was really cool. And the closeness of the family bonds, it can really give a band a real strong dynamic there. But at the same time, it can get pretty awkward and real sad when they don't get along and break up, because they're family. They're supposed to love each other and be together. But those emotions can run real hot, Warren. That's for sure.
Yes, and I think we have a couple of examples. We have a couple of examples of both here, right? Harmony and things going well and the group staying together, and then others where it's just things just unfortunately fell apart for whatever reason. The ego, the incompatibility, the whatever it could be, right? There's a couple of those here on the list as well. Maybe sometimes in these circumstances when you do see siblings go at each other's throats over the music and whatnot, maybe it's a bit of a cautionary tale, to not get into art with your family, with your siblings, especially if there's already a sibling rivalry that exists. Maybe you don't get into it, or it'll just exacerbate it, and then it ends up on the public stage, and in some circumstances becomes bigger than the band itself, or becomes part of the band's identity. So but then again, we have some lovely examples of harmony, of people getting along, of long careers making beautiful music together. That's also wonderful.
Mm-hmm. It's like the Bloodline. Sometimes they're together, sometimes they're apart. It's the symbolism is very apparent here, Warren, for sure.
It's the greatest metaphor for family ever. Ever, Rich.
Well, let's get to the music here. We have 10 picks each and a play-out song at the end. Warren, you are the guest. You'll go first. What's your first pick?
Well, my first pick is from an album that appeared in 1967 from a band called The Free Design, and it's the eponymous. It's the same title. The song is the same title as the album. It's called "Kites Are Fun." Yeah, we're starting with some good old-fashioned hippie music on this one here. Vocal band, The Free Design, all siblings in this band, the Diedrich family of Delavan, New York, with the core being Chris, the chief songwriter and arranger, And look, you could see exactly what kind of what kind of music they were going for, and maybe you're going there and you're sitting there, and I have never heard of these people, and you would be correct to have never heard of them. They tried to break through. They tried to get out there, and despite the fact that they had all the connections to do it, I believe the father of the band members had worked with. Let me see here. I had written down I lost my note here. Oh, Vaughn Monroe. That's right. He had played in Vaughn Monroe's big band back in the 40s and 50s. So, there were connections, there were possibilities, but things never really caught on for them. Always seemed to be outshined by other bands at the time who did very similar arrangements as they are. But there was a bit of a resurgence for the free design in the early 2000s, especially coming off of some notable famous musicians and bands that had found the recordings and had cited them as influences. These individuals being like Stereolab or Bell and Sebastian or Beck. They had all cited these people as influences, and then people started to dig in, find their recordings, and realized that their arrangements, their vocal arrangements, were all tremendous and somewhat complex and very interesting. I discovered them in the mid 2000s. I think it's around 2007. I'd say there was an album that was released of remixes of some of their biggest standards, I guess. And remixed and covered by people like Stereolab, by Bell and Sebastian, and so on and so forth. So it was that's how I found out about them and started listening to their stuff. And they always kind of stuck around. I thought it was always very, very, very interesting.
Yeah, just thinking about the time period. I mean, the 60s were amazing because the same time period we get like Fortunate Son, Blackbird, A Change Is Gonna Come. We also get Kites Are Fun. It really shows the duality of the decade there. But it's an appropriately jaunty little number because it's about these siblings going outside and playing with a kite because it's 1967 and there's no TikTok or Instagram to rot their brains. But yeah, like you said, these guys would end up inspiring bands like Bell and Sebastian and Stereolab and Beck and some other people. Like the other vocal groups of that era. So yeah, good for them.
I mean, it took a long time for them to get any type of attention. Again, they were really outshined by a lot of similar bands at the time. And in the early 2000s, they even recorded a song called literally called A Hit Song, which was essentially a dig at their failure to ever chart. So in the song, they're actually making fun of the fact that, we tried to do things for the kids, for the youngsters to listen to. That didn't work. We even tried to get the DJs to spin our records. That didn't work. So there was a good level of self-awareness. But at that stage in the mid 2000s, they had really reached the highest level of recognition that they ever did find.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like how that album in 2001 is called Cosmic Peekaboo.
Yes.
Sticking with the little kid theme there. That's clever there. So
always something very naive, very in the spirit of the Flower Children of the 60s, right? It's really that spirit that continued to endure. So and even in their song there, where they make fun of themselves, the A Hit Song, it's still very, I mean, you use the word jaunty and that's exactly what it is. It's still very, it's not aggressive. It's more like self-reflective. It's tongue in cheek while keeping this air of naivete about it. Very interesting stuff. I definitely recommend definitely recommend people giving it a shot.
All right. Well, my first pick, I'll go with a band that has the word family in the name. This is Sly and the Family Stone, with, of course, Sly Stone and his siblings, Freddie, Rose, and Vet, among others. This is from their Greatest Hits album from 1970, and this is Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself Again. So first of all, I got to shout out Larry Graham, who invented the slap bass technique that you heard there and just made funk music even funkier. I mean, that bass line just digs right into you from the jump. And Sly and the Family Stone, it's crazy. You know, they had a string of huge hits from like 67 to 69. Dance to the Music, Everyday People, Sing a Simple Song, I Want to Take You Higher. Songs that are, you know, referenced in this song. They were pretty damn big, and then drugs come along, and that's when things take a dark turn. And they only put out one single in like a 2-year period, but it was this song. So even though the band is about to go off the rails, they still put out just an absolute banger of a tune, and they'd have a few more bangers after this, Warren. So,
I mean, classic band. Who doesn't like these grooves, this funk? It's tremendous. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but wasn't this like one of the, like, despite everything they represented, like, weren't they built like on, like, wasn't it like the first American group to have like a mixed gender lineup? Or am I?
That's what I read. Yeah, I mean the first major group, at least, for sure.
At the very least, right? So, you know, that's another very interesting landmark. And I thought your pick was kind of topical as well, because you know, Sly Stone passed away about a year ago, if I'm not mistaken, in June last year. So, you know, I thought that this had on top of the relevancy with the Bloodline, I thought your timing was pretty good. We're recording this on the last day of June, mind you, but you know, it still has that type of relevance. I mean, this, you know, it's such a great tune. It's so good, and has that, you know, all those vibes that you love from that era, from those types of funk bands, just like you mentioned, you know, just the bass lines just going up and down your spine, making your shoulders suddenly sway uncontrollably. That wait a second, I'm losing. I am not telling my body to do this. My body is doing this all by itself. It's tremendous. It's you know, it's a great song and a legendary band, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, the previous episode I did was Personal Demons, and I think if anyone is a good example of that and the harm that Personal Demons can have on a career, Sly Stone is Exhibit A, because, you know, even the last couple of Family Stone albums, I mean, they basically just paved the way for 70s funk and inspired a lot of acts, but, you know, he was never able to reach those same heights of the solo career. Mm-hmm. And he eventually just stopped making music altogether. And he'd pop up like once in a blue moon, but he wasn't reliable. I mean, you know, he was truly enigmatic, I think is a good word. And you do wonder, like, okay, if he kept his head on straight, you know, would the band have kept going? Like, what heights would he have reached going further? That's the big question, I think, with him, Warren.
because they all, a lot of the, after the band ended, a lot of them continued nonetheless. Like a lot of them became session musicians, right? So, you know, there was always, you know, the talent was there. Didn't, I think even, I don't want to mess up here, but I feel like one of them ended up like playing with Prince or like mentoring Prince early on in his career. Like, you know, there was a lot of stuff. There was a lot of stuff that could have been, I guess, that's ultimately what you're bringing out here. A lot of stuff could have been, because all of these people continued, or at least most of them continued in music in one way or another.
Mm-hmm. All right, Warren, what's your next pick?
Oh, you know, I like to come on your show and bring up one of an artist from my province, from the province of Quebec, that most of your listeners will have never heard of, but you know, at least it's something novel, something to discover. And today, I want all of your Music of the Mat listeners to discover the greatness that is the duo, the brother-sister duo of René and Nathalie Simard, with their 1987 hit, Tourne la page. So if you're if you're in my age bracket and you're from Quebec, you have absolutely heard of the Simard siblings, René and Nathalie. It's impossible to avoid. René was a child star in the early 70s. He was a singer. He'd do all sorts of covers and something that was very popular at the time as well in Quebec, not just with child performers, but adults as well, which would be to take a very famous English hit, international hit, sung in English, and then perform it, translate it and perform it in French. That would be a really big thing as well. And he was huge. Like René was on television all the time. He sold thousands upon thousands of records. He even had a career in Japan for a while. He picked up steam there very easily, and eventually, well, you know, the child star wants to grow up, wants to become an adult, and this album here in 1987 was kind of the mark where he wanted to graduate from being just a kid to being a grown-up performer. And he brought on his sister Natalie, who was much younger than him and who was a child star as well. Like the both members of the family were, and he brought her on for a duet, which was a huge deal in the for Quebecois everywhere, because they never really performed together. Maybe when they were younger, they did a song now and then just because, oh, it was cute. Look at the siblings perform, but their careers were basically like kept apart. And so when they did do this was a huge event. It was a tremendous hit. A song, as you can hear, is just like absolutely, you know, obnoxiously 80s in its production and how it sounds. It's incredibly cheesy on top of that, very corny. It's the butt of jokes even to this day, but it's nonetheless a I guess, a cultural touchstone for us here in the province, for these two to have performed together on this song.
Yeah, this is some 80s goodness right here. I really enjoyed this one, actually. From what I understand from the translated lyrics, it's about a guy and a girl, and she gets on a plane and leaves, and he's sad about it. A plane tears
Correct.
through the evening, leaves me behind. A night of absence, it's like a cry of despair. Like thunder in the silence. It's a night flight where your face vanishes like a mirage. Last image up there, you fall asleep. Your heart on the edge of the stars. Sweet and fatal, and I'm hurting. Now...
I'm laughing because I'm hearing all of the lyrics in French, and it's like, yep, that's exactly it.
Now, it could be about a brother and sister. It could also be about lovers, which, might make this little combination a bit awkward, perhaps. But I love the video because the video has airplanes, and she is at an airport, and at one point they're both standing in jet engines, like superimposed in them. But yeah, I do actually like the song, Warren, for sure.
Yeah, look, it has years removed. It has a lot of charm, but holy moly, back in the day, it was a lot of people liked it. Just as it was highly ridiculed, and the visuals of being out there at the Pierre Elliott Trudeau Airport in Montreal at night, people still reference that and sort of poke fun at it because it's such an iconic visual. But look, they both had really significant careers musically. Like I said, Rene won. When I say he had a career in Japan, he won at 13 years old. So this would have been like in 1974. He won the Music Grand Prix tournament at the Tokyo Music Festival, and the trophy was awarded to him by Frank Sinatra. So he's 13 years old. He's in Tokyo, and he's getting a trophy, and Frank Sinatra is there shaking his hand. And to this day, Rene is the only Canadian to have ever won that festival's top prize. To this day, today. And then meanwhile, Nathalie had her own musical career. She had a kids show as well in the 80s that was very, very popular. And but there's also a bit of a darker side to all of this as well, unfortunately, where it turns out that their manager, very powerful, influential man in Canadian music, named Guy Cloutier, was sexually abusing Nathalie when she was very young. This came out at the start of the 2000s, I'd say, if memory serves me right, and that just completely demolished that man's empire. For a long time, Nathalie was out of the public eye. She wasn't doing anything anymore. People wondered why. Well, this sort of ended up explaining everything. Because she just didn't want to have to deal with this man anymore. So she became an advocate for abuse victims later on. So she's more of a she uses her influence more for social issues than actually sitting down and recording music and doing the star stuff now moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wanted to look up some more info on them because I was thinking, all right, brother and sister, maybe they're like the French-Canadian version of the Carpenters or whatever. And yeah, I saw that Natalie was abused, and there's some book that claims that Renee covered up the abuse, which she's denied. So, much like the Carpenters, it got pretty dark there, Warren.
Yeah, they were estranged for years, Renee and Natalie. So, there's a lot of putting 1 + 1 = 2 type of situation throughout the years. Now that hindsight is 2020 and etc. Of course, he's denied it, but they didn't speak for years. No public appearances, nothing until they reunited to perform Tourne la Page like in 2016. That was the first time they had been together on stage in decades, I believe.
All right, well, my next pick here, I've got an all-girl band, called The Bangles. Big fan of The Bangles.
But never heard of them.
Oh, Warren, come on now. This is a quartet of women: Susanna Hoffs, Michael Steele, and a pair of sisters, Debbie and Vicky Peterson. Their first album is called All Over the Place, and I picked a song called Hero Takes a Fall.
The hero is exposed when his crimes are brought to the light of day. Won't be feeling sorry, sorry, sorry on the judgment day. Wasn't it me who said there'll be a price to pay, and I won't feel bad at all when the hero takes a fall, when the hero takes a fall. Your mother told you stories, you substitute with girls who tell you more. Suddenly a psychopath are chanting slogans at your door. They're seeing through you now. I saw it all before, and I won't feel bad at all when the hero takes a fall, when the hero takes a fall.
So that's the second ever single of theirs, and it wasn't a hit, but I like it a lot. And it has the trademark Bangles harmonies and their new wavy pop rock sound. And it's a timeless topic too, because it's about the hero who gets exposed for having flaws, and he takes a fall. Suddenly, your sycophants are chanting slogans at your door. Seems like this happens all the time, where we love to build people up and then tear them down. And the thing about the Bangles is, all four of them sing lead, depending on the song. And this one has one of my many crushes, Susanna Hoffs, on lead. Yeah, big fan of the Bangles there, Warren.
Me too, and I love this album. The Manic Mondays and the Egyptians and whatnot. It's all fine. They're good songs. They're legitimately good songs. But their debut LP has such a, there's something just a little low production about it that makes it really charming. There's the college rock vibe to it. Like there's just something really, really good. Like they have, the other song, the other big song that came out of this album, right? Going Down to Liverpool. Like that's such another great song of theirs. And I'm such a huge mark for this album. I think it's so good. But I'm not trying to diminish like their big successes. They were extremely successful moving forward, but there was something just not quite as polished, a little more garage, and I guess it just speaks to sensibilities at that point. But I feel like everyone that I've forced them to listen to this album, to All Over the Place, which is the album, everyone that I forced to listen to make them listen to, they're like, wait, this is the Bangles? Yeah, because they're used to the more famous songs that played that got all the radio time and that were hits. So when you play these, they're like, oh, okay, there really was something else there going on. Such a great pick. Hero Takes a Fall is tremendous. The album is tremendous. Going Down to Liverpool might be a song I like a little more because in the video Leonard Nimoy is in it. So that might be Leonard Nimoy is the chauffeur of the band. And the majority of the video is in a car. And the Bangles, all four of them are in the back seat of Nimoy's car. And the entirety of their interaction, or at least the majority of their interaction, is them singing to a song that is playing on the radio, and the song happens to be Going Down to Liverpool. And Nimoy is just like looking at them through the rear view mirror, and they're looking back at him, and it's some very weird, very charged interactions until Nimoy stops the car and tells them to get out. when they're in the middle of a tunnel, and it's a great finale to the song, to the video. Yeah, I love the Bangles. I love early Bangles. It's terrific.
Mm-hmm. Well, they had that 60s influence for sure. They the Paisley Underground was the name of it. All those California bands that were inspired by the 60s.
The Byrds, some Byrds power pop type of thing. I agree.
Yeah,
yes.
power pop, jangle pop, that whole thing. So that definitely played a part in their sound for sure. And I think they're technically still together. They haven't toured in quite a while. And actually, they got back together with their original bass player. Annette Zelinskas is her name, because Michael Steele left the band some years ago. So, that's the Bangles. But Warren, your next pick is another all-girl group with sisters in it, is it not?
Yes, it is another girl band that we're going to listen to this time. We're going to listen to the song "The Wire" from HAIM.
I know that you're gonna be okay anyway. You know there's no rhyme or reason for the way you turned out to be. I didn't go and try to change my mind, not intentionally. I know it's hard to hear you say it, but I can't bear to stay. And I just know that you're gonna be okay anyway. Always keep your heart locked tight. Don't let your mind read that. Oh, but I just couldn't take it. I tried out and I to beg it, but I fumbled. And when it came down to the wire, it felt right. It felt right. Oh, but I fumbled. And when it came down to the wire, it felt right. It felt right. Oh, but I fumbled. And when it came down to the wire, it's your imagination trying to make you what you want it to be. Because I'm sorry I do what I did, but it came naturally, and I gave it up away.
I sort of proofed my list to Kristen, my girlfriend, and she was looking it over and said, "Isn't HAIM a little basic for this list?" I'm like, "Is it basic, Andrew? Is it a basic choice?"
Warren, it's my show. I say we can be as basic as we want. It's okay.
All right, cool. Because I was like, no, it's probably not the most original pick, right? I agree, but man, that song rules. The Wire rules. Their 2013 debut it rules. Like there was just something so good and that in everything that they made. Very, there's something very poised, very sunshiny at the same time, but without being too saccharine, I guess. We're not in the same type of sunshine as the Free Design type of thing. It's more. I've always enjoyed their work, and I would have been remiss to not put them on this list. It's an easy pick, but it's really good. And it's funny when you look at their history at the same time, and you realize that the sisters and their parents were in a band together. They were trying to do a Partridge Family type of deal, right? And here's a tie-in. Here's another tie-in, Andrew, for the period in which we're recording this. We're talking about the Bloodline, but we also talked about the World Cup. Did you know that their father used to be a pro soccer player?
I don't think I knew that part. No.
Yeah, he was. Not only was he a drummer, but he was a former pro soccer player for the country of Israel, and also the mother once won on the Gong Show. She performed the Bonnie Raitt song, and she did not get gonged off the show. Isn't that interesting?
Talent abound to this whole family. It's amazing. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, look, if you weren't going to be basic, I was going to be, because I would have picked this song if you hadn't. I had to scratch this one off my list there. But yeah, this song rocks. The first time I heard it, I was like, okay, these ladies must really like the song Heartache Tonight by the Eagles, because that's the exact same backing beat as that song. But look, when you grow up in Southern California, listening to your parents' music, it's going to leave a mark on you for sure. But
pretty much.
But yeah, this is the song that turned me on to HAIM. And it's nice that we played this back-to-back with the Bangles, because you could see a bunch of similarities between them. An all-girl band with sisters, They're from California. They all sing and play their own instruments, and they're easy on the eyes to boot. So yeah, you can see the through line there, definitely, Warren.
Yeah, absolutely. Except for the I can't remember their names off the top of my head, but the bassist, yeah, sure, they're easy on the eyes, but the bassist pulls these incredible faces when she's playing. It's a meme also at this point. Completely changes her appearance, I find. But yes, very. It's just one of these situations where everyone is very, very talented. Everyone looks the part as well, and things just come together. And yeah, you just have a recipe for success. I think even like one of the sisters she's an actress now too.
Alana is an actress now, yeah. And I just saw her a month ago in the drama with Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, and she's very good in it and very unlikable as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
But yeah, she's been in that. She's been in Paul Thomas Anderson movies. She's getting into that world for sure.
Well,
yeah.
Paul Thomas Anderson, I think, knew them beforehand because he actually directed some of their music videos.
Well, there you go. That's a nice connection to have into the Hollywood world for sure. All right, well, my next pick, this is a band of indie rock darlings, The National, which has not just one set of brothers, but two sets of brothers. It's Aaron and Bryce Dessner, who are twins, by the way. Twins, Basil, twins. And Scott and Brian Devendorf, the other brothers, with Matt Berninger as the frontman. This is from their album Sleep Well Beast, and the song is called The System Only Dreams in Total Darkness.
I thought that this would all work out after a while. Now you're saying that I'm asking for too much attention. Also no other faith is light enough for this place. We said we'd only die of lonely secrets. The system only dreams in total darkness. Why are you hiding from me? We're in a different kind of thing now. All night you're talking to God. And I cannot explain it. Oh, any other way. I cannot explain it. Oh, any other way.
So I wouldn't call myself a learned National fan. I know a couple songs here and there, but I really love this one a lot. And there's a lot going on here. There's an overarching, menacing tone. Matt Berninger has that baritone voice. And there's that jittery guitar line. And the tribal drums. And it was written during the first Trump term. So the idea of the system being in total darkness, just you wait, buddy. Just you wait. But it's also got a trumpet. Yeah, it's also got a trumpet and the piano and an emphatic chorus. I love the chorus. I cannot explain it any other way. It's really beautiful. So yeah, of the few National songs that I know, this is my favorite. And I know Obama said that this is one of his favorite songs of 2017. So me and Barack, we're in sync there, Warren. How about that?
Oh, no big shock there. I don't know. I don't know why I wouldn't be shocked. I'm a big fan of The National. I've been a fan of theirs since their album Boxer in 2007, which was one of my, and still remains today, one of my favorite albums of all time. And it's funny how you mention the chorus. It's an idiosyncrasy that he has throughout many of the National songs, where he'll have this, I don't know how you'd call it exactly. It's not exactly a staccato, but just like a skip, or it's sort of breaking what you would expect the natural flow to be, I guess. Berninger's pretty good with that. and it makes for very unique choruses that sometimes feel unexpected. That when the second time the chorus in the song pops up, you expect it to sound like the first, like the first time you heard it, but no, he brings this little twist to it. It's very good. I've been a huge fan of theirs. Early on, in early national, if you were to go back to listen, it's the drums actually that make what they do so remarkable. If you go on and you listen to some songs on Boxer, particularly Fake Empire, the first track of the album, which starts off very slow, and it's Berninger and piano as the singing, and slowly the instruments, the other instruments sort of punctuate, and then at some point you just have the drums, like the snares, just like crash in, and you're like, oh. And it just like completely grabs you, and you're like, holy smokes. And it's really a signature that the band kept at the forefront for many years. I think they played around with it. While it still plays a big role, it's not as in the forefront of their sound as it used to be, but it's still excellent. I love the band. I love, the album Boxer, the High Violet. High Violet is tremendous. Trouble Will Find Me. Those are probably my three top national albums. Alligator, their first one that I went back to listen, is also tremendous, and even more interesting to see how much they've evolved. Of course, you go back to the first album to see the foundations, the roots of what they did or what they set up, and seeing where they are now. You can see that where they were heading, what they were heading towards, but it was really, really an unfinished product, but still nonetheless very interesting. Did I just completely nerd out here, Andrew? I feel like I did. I feel like sometimes, look, I am not autistic, but this was very, I was very much in my head on this one for sure.
That's okay. That's why we're here. Don't worry about it. I'd have to do more research, but I can't think of another prominent band where it's made up of two sets of brothers, let alone one of those sets, being twins. Like that's a really unique kind of lineup there for sure, Warren. So
that is very, very special. like that's not something I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of anyone. I can't think of any other setup that is even remotely like that. And especially like everyone's so talented, because it is a tremendous band. The National is a tremendous band. So, I guess happenstance, luck, lightning in a bottle, call it what you will.
All right, Warren, what you got next?
What are we doing next? Oh yeah, okay. Another classic. Another classic. We're going all the way back to 1977. We're going to listen to Barracuda by Heart. One of the most famous guitar riffs in all of rock music. Just that relentless galloping, just will not stop. Plus, on top of that, the bellowing echoes of Ann Wilson just completely just like overcomes you. And you're like, how could you not be just stunned into silence to listen to this song and pay attention? I think you have to be completely disconnected to anything meaningful in life, to not have just like been taken aback the first time you heard this song. It's absolutely fantastic. Of course, we're talking about Ann Wilson and her sister Nancy Wilson, who've been the only consistent members in the band throughout the years. Do you know the story about Barracuda? How they wrote the song?
I certainly do.
I think it's a fairly well-known story, but it's their old label.
Their Canadian label, by the way. Blaming it on your country, right. There, my friend.
Oh, okay. I mean, I was trying to skip over the detail. Thank you for interrupting there. And I think they ran an ad in one of these trades, right, for just to promote the band, and they had promoted Anne and Nancy as being incestuous lovers, essentially, and they didn't know that their label had decided to do this until they did. They did like an interview or a meet and greet and something to that effect, and the guy who was talking to them, asked Anne about her lover, talking about Nancy, and she's like, "What do you mean?" And then it sort of all came full circle, and that pissed off the sisters tremendously, and so Anne wrote Barracuda. Off of that experience, and the Barracuda is essentially the sleazy music industry. That's the story right there. So I think it's very interesting. And listen, you can feel the anger, the resentment, the contempt, in how she delivers the lyrics, how she sings. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, say what you will about the Wilson sisters. They're the real deal. I mean, because they will rock your face off, and they will be tough. I mean, you got to be tough to be women in a male-dominated genre like rock and roll, especially back in those days. They're not dainty by any stretch, and this song kind of proves that, both with the inspiration behind it, but like you said, it's has such an oomph to it, that great galloping beat. And what's cool is that, this became their signature song long after that label went away. This song lives on as a testament to their talent and their anger. Don't mess with heart, Warren. That's the big lesson here, I think.
No, I know exactly. The lesson is easy to pick up here, right? I mean, look, I'm at the same time, like, don't mess with them. Indeed. John McCain used Barracuda during one of his campaign appearances, and the sisters sent them a cease and desist. So it's like, you just don't mess with heart, And this is despite the fact that, like, it's not because they don't want people to play their music, right? Because Chappelle Roan recently performed her own version of Barracuda, and Nancy Wilson gave it the thumbs up. She's like, hell yeah, just don't cross them. Don't mess with the Wilson sisters. They're gonna come after you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they've been through a lot, especially Anne. All that stuff with her weight and the drug and alcohol issues, and she got cancer a few years ago, and was performing in a wheelchair afterwards. And last I checked, I think she's out of that, and now just has like a regular chair to lean up against. But Hart is still going, man. God bless him.
Yeah, they had a huge tour last year, like a really big arena tour last year. Good for them.
Mm-hmm. All right, my next pick is Van Halen. Now, Van Halen originally just had two brothers. It's two brothers in a van, Eddie and Alex. And then there was also David Lee Roth, Michael Anthony to fill out the original quartet. But when they got back together with Dave in 2007, it became two brothers and a son/nephew. Eddie's son Wolfgang came in on bass and backing vocals. So this is from 2012, the last Van Halen album, called A Different Kind of Truth. This song is called You and Your Blues.
Ain't no red house over yonder. No stormy Monday waits for you. Ain't no midnight train to Georgia, and I'm not looking for the truth. And I tell you what I'm getting rid of next. You and your blues. Yes, I am. Your bad mood's permanent. Your communication breakdown. Like watching someone reinvent their 19th nervous breakdown. Woman, suffer from a color. I suffer 'cause of you. Now everybody's suffering 'cause of you and your blue.
So I'm on record loving the last Van Halen album. It's something of a miracle that we even have, this sort of thing, especially with Dave there. I wish it could be the original four with Michael Anthony, but that was not in the cards. But yeah, Wolfie stepped in, did a good job. You hear him, doing the background vocals there. And this song was a fun little number. It's kind of a meta blues song in a way, because it's about a guy who has a girl and she's always in a bad mood, and her suffering, her blues, is causing him suffering. So she's got to go. And it also references all of these classic songs, Red House, Crossroads, Midnight Train to Georgia, Communication Breakdown, 19th Nervous Breakdown, Dust My Broom. So it's a blues song that references other blues songs. And I just wanted to play something from this last Van Halen album, which I think is really great, Warren.
This song should have been some kind of hit, don't you think? Like, it should have been some kind of single, and I think the song is tremendous. I'll admit not being familiar with the rest of the album, but I am familiar with You and Your Blues, and I think the song absolutely rocks. And I tend to not be. I tend to not gravitate around, or towards, I should say, older rock metal bands from the 70s, the 80s, who are still pumping out music. And most of the time I'm very apprehensive of it, and I don't, and it's just, it's a thing. It's a thing that I have. It's a hang up that that I'm dealing with. I'm talking to my therapist about it. But when it comes to You and Your Blues, the first time I heard that song, I was like, holy crap. Okay, this is actually tremendous. And I don't know, I maybe because it was Van Halen and people thought it was, or had this connotation of being old hat or whatnot, but I thought it sounded tremendous. And it had a little something for the old fans, like you said, getting Dave back on there and whatnot. It felt like old homie week to a degree. I thought I think it's a tremendous track. I legitimately love that song. It's a tremendous, tremendous track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and now Wolfgang is, he's doing his own thing with Mammoth, which I like a lot too.
Yes.
And he plays and sings every instrument. Sounds great. And he's only 35. Like, when he joined Van Halen, he was 16.
That's crazy.
And he had to miss the 11th grade to go on tour with Van Halen. I mean, that is a crazy life already. But when you're Eddie Van Halen's son and he asks you, hey, do you want to go on a massive world tour and skip school? You say yes to that, So it's hard to blame him for, missing out on math class or whatever.
I agree. And I read a story that the last album, well, the Different Kind of Truth album happened because of Wolfgang's insistence. Did I get that right? Do you know about this?
I don't know about this. I'd have to look.
Because what I read, what I read is that he basically dragged his dad into doing it, where he's like, "Look, I want to record. We should record an album. We probably had a discussion about him being up there in age and whatnot, but I want to record an album with my famous guitar master father, right? I should be able to do this." And then they were able to talk David Lee Roth into it, but apparently this was all spearheaded by Wolfgang. He wanted to do it, and they made it happen.
Yeah, I'm reading Wikipedia right now. It says Eddie Van Halen was reluctant about the possibility of recording new material with Roth in 2009, citing the poor reaction to the 3 new songs recorded with Hagar for the 2004 compilation Best of Both Worlds. After Wolfgang became enthusiastic about recording a new Van Halen album, Eddie's opinion changed. Quote, "We're doing this album for us."
There you go.
So yeah, there you go. We got Wolfie to thank.
There you go. There you go. A great track.
But your next pick, Warren, it's a song that Van Halen famously covered.
Indeed. Quite a few people covered it. Yes, Van Halen, good segue, but a lot of people covered this song. You Really Got Me by the Kinks.
You really got me going. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I can't sleep at night. Yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing. Oh yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I can't sleep at night. You really got me. You really got me. You really got me. Don't ever set me free. I always wanna be by your side. Girl, you really got me now. You got me so I can't sleep at night. Yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love it so much because it's so like it's so cocky and aggressive and sneering all at once. Every time I hear it on this version, it's just like just a little shiver from the brothers Ray Davies and Dave Davies. Andrew, that's kind of like if your parents had called you, Andrew Andrews.
Andrew Andrews, yeah.
Dave Davies. You got to be kidding me here.
Well, there's an Eddie Edwards, I mean.
There is an Eddie Edwards.
It happens.
Right. True. That's true. I mean, look, one of the absolute classic songs that everyone has heard at least once in their lifetimes. I mean, and for me, this is my pick for the band, the brothers that just couldn't get along. There's a very famous British duo from the 90s who are highly identified with being with quarreling and whatnot, but the Kinks, man, the Davies, they're the OGs, brother. Fighting on stage, throwing cymbals at each other, cracking each other over the head. I mean, this is like these are the originals, and everything about the Kinks has something aggressive about it, which I really like. Like the distorted riff on this song. Dave had just he broke up with his girlfriend or was in a fight with her or whatnot. So he was pissed off, right? He was in a super foul mood, and he slashed the speaker cone of his little amp, right, with a razor blade. And then after that, he ran it through. He ran it through, and he tried recording with it, and gave off that jangle, that distorted crunch that became the signature of the band, and particularly of this song, and one of the first hit records to use guitar distortion, right? And often credited as a seed of punk rock, and a tremendous, just a tremendous song, one that's endured over the years, despite the brothers not talking for decades, right? And I think they eventually did make up, but they didn't even address each other for decades. It was just a real deal family feud, and covered by everyone. I think it's appeared in most media everywhere. It's a classic song. I love it, and I love the whole vibe around it with the fighting brothers as well.
I mean, you said it yourself. I mean, the attitude there. I mean, it's punk before punk. Yeah, it's 1964, and a song like this with its distortion and its fast pace and its I mean, this is like laying the foundation for punk rock right here. You know, it's this. It's Louie Louie by the Kingsmen, Rumble by Link Ray. Those songs were instrumental, no pun intended, to building an entire genre of music. But it still works as a pop song. It's a sign of things to come. And the rumor for a long time was that it was Jimmy Page who played the guitar solo. But it wasn't him. It was Dave. So I mean that would have made this song even more legendary if it was Jimmy Page playing on it. But no, it's Dave there. So
it was Dave Davies was there. It was that was him. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, you're right. You do wonder if Ray and Dave will ever, get back together for one more thing, because that clock is ticking. Ray is 82, Dave's 79, and time and health are not on their side. I mean, look, if Liam and Noel can do it, anything is possible. But at this point, it might take a miracle for that to happen. So, but all right, my next pick here. This is a band featuring a husband and wife. Husband's name is Paul. Wife's name is Linda, and the band's name is Wings. This is from Band on the Run, and the song is called Jet. Could be Kevin Knight's new theme song. Who knows? But yeah, Band on the Run. It's the Wings album, and Jet is a hell of a song. I love the energy and the mix of the buzzy synth brr, and the piano and the saxophone in there too. It's just a really upbeat, fun song, and supposedly it's named after Paul and Linda's dog. But then Paul later said that it was named after a pony, so who knows? But the actual song, it's about Paul meeting Linda's dad and being intimidated. I can almost remember their funny faces that time you told them that you were going to be marrying soon. Was your father as bold as a sergeant major? So, even Paul McCartney can still get the father-in-law jitters. But it makes for a very good song, I think, Warren.
Maybe it's Paul's own past. It's like, oh yeah, you're bringing this teeny bopper in type of thing. Yeah, I mean, look, there's the whole recording of this album, right, is kind of entrenched in legend as well, because they recorded the album in Nigeria, and like 2 members of the band quit during the sessions or something to that effect. But there were 2 members that quit. I don't know if it was during or before. I'm drawing a blank here. They were mugged. Paul and Linda, they were mugged at Life Point. They lost some of the demos. Paul even had like a bronchial spasm. Everything was cursed on this recording, and it's a wonder that they managed to just get this album out at all. And it was a fantastic, like you said, it's a great album. It's the seminal Wings album, and Jet is tremendous. And Paul ended up playing drums and most guitars on the song, while Linda did quite a bit filling out the song with whoever was left on the crew to fill in the rest of the parts here. So yeah, it was it's a hell of a story in and about itself.
Yeah, and you got like James Coburn and Christopher Lee on the album cover. It's wild stuff, but legendary stuff for sure. And with Paul and Linda in particular, I mean, they were making music before Wings was even a thing. They have the Ram album that came out after McCartney 1, and it's got Uncle Albert, Admiral Halsey, Too Many People, Backseat of My Car. Like, they were, so close as husband and wife and as music partners. Like, they were so perfect for each other until Linda's death. And sadly, she was taken way too soon. But, she is an integral part of his career, not just his life. Her and Paul and also Denny Lane.
Denny Lane was the name I was looking for. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, they were the core trio of Wings all throughout. But all right, Warren, what is your next pick?
Oh, we're gonna take it down a notch here, and we're gonna listen to some Cowboy Junkies with their classic their classic song "Sweet Jane."
Wouldn't turn around and hate it. Sweet Jane. Sweet Jane. Sweet, sweet Jane. We're waiting for Jimmy down in the alley. We're waiting there for him to come back home. We're waiting down on the corner. We're thinking of ways to get back home. Sweet Jane. Sweet Jane. Sweet, sweet Jane.
I will admit to taking any opportunity to listen to the song, and it just it fit right in here. So I'm like, there we go. We'll just put it in here because the Timmins siblings make up the core of this group. Margot on vocals, Michael on guitar, and Peter on drums. And then they have the bassist, Alan Anton, who is a childhood friend of the band. So it's like it's all a family thing. The album Trinity Session, 1988. There's so much fun lore around the recording of this album, of this not just this song itself, which is their version of a Velvet Underground song, taking it even slower and really sitting on it and creating something atmospheric in a way that compounds into the lore, like I was mentioning. They recorded this in a cathedral at a church, at the Toronto Church of the Holy Trinity, and they were all just sitting around one single microphone. So they're not in a studio. They wanted to capture the roominess of it all, and apparently, when they approached the church to get the permission to record the song, they informed they asked the priest or whoever. They said, well, listen, we are the Timmins family singers, right? And they were recording this around Christmas time, around the holidays, just before the holidays, and they said, oh yeah, we're recording a Christmas radio special. So we're like, oh, okay, yes, you can record in here, which is really hilarious, and that's why the album sounds the way it does, where it feels where you have like this. Where you feel the environment around you, you feel like there's this lo-fi quality to it. The hush tones, everything feels a little ethereal, echoey. It's all from the way they decided to approach recording the album, and dare I say, it was a very successful artistic choice that they made here. It's a tremendous album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, obviously I know the original version, but I wasn't really aware of this one. It was in Stranger Things recently because Eleven's real name is Jane. But yeah, I'm so used to Lou Reed singing this one. But this is a good cover. It's certainly very laid back and moody. And I read that Margot Timmons had really bad stage fright. So much so that at first she would only sing in front of her brother, Michael. Mm-hmm. And he had to convince her to sing in front of the other band members. And that she would also sing with her back to the audience at first. And I think that apprehension, you can kind of hear that in her performance as well, Warren.
Yeah, and in fact, the way she sings is left over from when they would rehearse. Let's say they were rehearsing at home in the garage, as she'd sing in these low tones just to not make too much noise, so that the old man doesn't come over and shake his fist and say, you kids are too noisy, type of thing. So it's all that's something that was taken from those sessions there, where she was purposefully not singing too loud so as to not give out too much noise, right? And have you ever heard of the town of Timmins, Ontario?
You might be shocked, Warren, when I say this, but no.
No, not surprised. It's a town in northern Ontario. Prospector town that was in the early 1900s. Turns out they are descendants of one of the men who founded the town, Noah Timmins, who was a prospector at the time. He was a very rich guy back in the day, because he was one of the first to set up the gold mine over there in Timmins. Like most mining towns of the time, Timmins slowly became much smaller and not as prosperous, and the Timmins family fortune dried up. So it's not as if they were coming into this as nepo babies with their pockets flush with cash from the gold rush days. That wasn't quite the case. Noah had the Timmins family had run out of their wealth a while back. But it's still interesting to consider that they were, I guess, to a degree, some kind of local celebrity over there just by their bloodline. There you go.
They could have called themselves the Prospector Junkies. Really live up to the family name, the family legacy there.
That doesn't quite roll off the tongue as well, don't you think?
All right, Mr. Critic, save it for yourself there. Come on now, but well, for my next pick, I'll be dipping my toes into your French-Canadian pool here, Warren, because my next pick is Arcade Fire, a band with Win Butler, his now separated wife, Regine Chansonnier, and Win's brother, Will, back when he was still in the band. This is from their first album, Funeral, and this is Wake Up.
Children, wake up, hold your mistake up before they turn the summer into dust. If the children don't grow up, our bodies get bigger, but our hearts get torn up. We're just a million little guys gathered brainstorm, turning everything to rust. I guess we'll just have to adjust.
So, yeah, this is the first time that Arcade Fire has been played on the show, and, acknowledging Win Butler's sexual misconduct accusations, obviously those are not good. But having said that, I gotta hand it to French-Canadian ISIS here. I mean, this song is still tremendous, from those opening chords, ba-na-na-na-na-na, ba-na-na-na, and then right into the, oh, and the strings. It's like floating on sunshine and wonder and melancholy all at once. And I had to play that part that everyone knows, where it goes, I guess we'll just have to adjust. Like, I still get goosebumps hearing that part. So, look, whatever, stomp, clap, ho, hey songs came after this, I can't speak for those. But this song is still a masterpiece, Warren.
It really is. This whole album, in fact, when I remember when it came out and, people started passing it around because, we had CDs back in the day, and we started, and it ended up in my hands. My first thought was like, oh, okay, so this band just recorded this album as if it's the last album they will ever record, from top to bottom. Like, Funeral is just, it's an emotional geyser. It's just like an outpouring of feeling and rawness. That's the thing that makes Wake Up so great is how Win is able to just convey that emotion, that screaming desperation, right? And it's something that they have, I feel, never been able to really recapture in all of their subsequent albums. The Funeral is just a seminal album, and it came out at a time. This was like in Montreal at the time. The Montreal music scene was just crazy, flush with talent. You had these guys here. You had Wolf Parade. You had the Unicorns. I've got someone on my list later on that was also a part of this. And not just on the English side, but on the French side, when you had bands like Malajube and you had bands like Carquois that were also there as well. It was just completely flush with talent at the time. And this really captivated everyone. And, it's interesting, where you say, you talk about how this was, we connect this to our, to my French Canadian neck of the woods at the very least, because there's very little French Canadian to do in the Arcade Fire, because Win is from Texas, right? The Butlers are from Texas.
He's American. Yeah.
And Regine she's a Haitian immigrant. So it's not even close to being and they all performed in English, so it's like not necessarily close to being a French Canadian band, but hey, we'll take it. We'll at the time, there was quite a lot of pride around the fact that this band that started in Montreal, that people saw in small venues and whatnot, was just exploding, and they were opening for David Bowie and stuff like that. And you're like, holy crap! Like, this is one of ours. This is probably the greatest success story of the Montreal scene. Of course, everything that happened after is unfortunate, but. You just can't take away this album. Funeral is too good. It's just too good.
Yeah, I always go back to those first three albums, Funeral, Neon Bible, and The Suburbs, which it won the Grammy for Album of the Year, which was huge. And
you remember that? Who the hell is the Arcade Fire? Right? Wasn't that the the social media movement?
But after that, I do kind of fall off with them. I know their most recent album, Pink Elephant, got mixed reviews, but Will left the band a few years ago, and Win and Regine separated, but she's still in the band. So it's kind of a Fleetwood Mac / White Stripes sort of thing, where they split up, but they're still making music together, Warren. So
another guy who left the band as well, but it wasn't necessarily related to this, or was it? But years ago, a guy by the name of Owen Pallett, he did a lot of the orchestral arrangements. He recorded a few albums under the name Final Fantasy before Square Enix got on his ass. But very talented guy. He had even on his first solo album, he even wrote a song titled "The Dream of Win and Regine," because they were perceived as this this indomitable indie rock couple, right? They from what you understand at the time, they were madly in love, and they were inseparable. And makes you wonder exactly what happened down the line between them. You know, relationships are complicated things. But they were really perceived like as this force of nature, to the point that people were making songs about them. So, yeah, but a complex legacy, I guess, is what the Arcade Fire is.
That's a good way to put it.
Behind. Yeah,
that's a good way to put it. But all right, moving on now to your next pick there, Warren.
Oh yeah, it's my turn. Where are we at? We just did this. Okay, hey, the Breeders. Let's go. Divine Hammer. How about that?
I'm just looking for a way around. It disappears this year. You're out of water. I'm just looking for the divine hammer. One divine hammer. One divine hammer. I'm just looking for one divine hammer. I bang it all day. The carpenter goes bang, bang, bang. I'm just looking for one divine hammer. One divine hammer. Divine hammer.
I love this song. I've always loved this song. I've always loved the Breeders. Of course, led by Kim Deal of the Pixies. Went off and did her own thing here. Started off a band with her twin sister, Kelly. And brought the Breeders together. The funny thing here is that Kelly Deal, who played lead guitar here essentially, had never played guitar beforehand. Andrew, she wasn't even a musician. She was like a computer systems analyst. and Kim's like, no, you can do this. Come, let's start a band. I'm dumping the Pixies. Black Francis is a dick. I can't play with him anymore. Because apparently Kelly had just like this, just this gift, where one of these things where I can hum and I can play it type of thing, right? And they created the Last Splash album in 1993, and there's a really fun story around Divine Hammer, this song in particular. Apparently the song was a last minute addition, and they were kind of stuck. The sisters were kind of stuck. They didn't know what exactly to do, how to go about it. So they decided to send the track to Jay Mascis of Dinosaur Jr., right? Mm-hmm. Just to get his input. They're like, hey, could you take a look at this? And what would you do if you were us in this situation type of thing? And by the way, wouldn't it be great just like have one of the greatest and most accomplished guitar players of like the 80s and 90s just at your fingertips and going, hey, could you just like send your input here? Anyway, so they're expecting Mascis basically to send back a guitar track, but he sends back a full track with him doing vocals on it, and they're like, okay, this is nice and all, but we're not going to use this, right? We're not using this, and they adopted a little bit of the guitar riffs that he was putting on there and whatnot. And the fun thing is that 2 years ago it was the anniversary of the release of 3 years ago at this point. It was the anniversary of the release of Last Splash, and as an extra track on the remaster, they added Jay Mascis's recording, so of his vocals and him playing the guitar on top of it. So that's a fun story, Andrew.
It's certainly a lot nicer than earlier we had assault and sibling hatred. It's a lot nicer. I'll give you that for sure.
and the twins, by the way, it's the kind of stuff that I really love. This type of musician lore. The twins, when they were young, growing up, they'd sing like country music harmonies together in like biker bars in Dayton, Ohio, which is tremendous. That's how they started getting into music, both of them together. It's tremendous.
Well, I was going to say, Divine Hammer, that was actually the other name that Kenta Kobashi came up with for a super finisher. But, but yeah, this was cute. It was kind of a take on if I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning. Because I guess it's about like Kim suffering from religious angst and growing up in a religious household, and you're waiting for that divine hammer. You're waiting for God to make his presence known, and he just doesn't. And the video was funny too because she's dressed up as a nun, and she's in wires, and she's flying down the street like the Flying Nun, the old TV show,
right?
While also smoking a cigarette. So it's a funny little visual there for sure.
It's tremendous. I got to see them live at Lollapalooza. I believe it was '94 that I went to when it was still a traveling outfit. They'd gone to Montreal. I believe it was 94, 93, 94, something like that. Wait, Last Flash was released in 93. It could be 93, 94. Hey, my memory is not as great as it used to be. But I saw them live. Tremendous time. I love the Breeders. I will always have a nice special place for the Breeders in my heart.
All right, well, my next pick here. I wanted another parent-child band, and I was racking my brain for a little bit, and then the light bulb went off. The Staple Singers, with Pop Staples and his daughters Mavis, Cleotha, and Yvonne. There's also a son in the band named Purvis. Purvis Staples, what a name. But he left and was replaced by Yvonne. This is from 1972. It's their big iconic song, really. It's I'll Take You There.
I know a place. Ain't nobody crying. Ain't nobody worried. No. Ain't no smiling faces. No, no. Lying to the races. Help me. Come on. Come on. Somebody help me. I'll take you there. Help me, y'all. I'll take you there. Help me now. I'll take you there. Oh, I'll take you there. Oh, mercy. I'll take you there. Oh.
Yeah, that's a classic right there. Not just for the Staple Singers, but the backing band too. You got the Muscle Shoals rhythm section and the Memphis Horns, because it's Stax Records. And it's just impossible not to groove along to that one. And it's a gospel song, too. It doesn't explicitly mention God or Jesus, but she's saying, hey, I know a place where people aren't sad and crying and lying to the races, I'll take you there. She's not talking about Cleveland, folks. It's somewhere much, much higher up. But yeah, like I said, this is a straight up classic, Warren.
I think it's it's one of the great American family acts, right? Just tremendous stuff. Like that those horn punches, they're iconic, really. I think it's the most identifiable part of the song. You're like, oh yeah, okay, this is great. Just awesome stuff. I love how it's set up, how simple it really is, right? It essentially rests on two chords, and then you got Mavis, who's just like, carrying the whole thing, and it's so good. We used to be a proper country where people had talent and recorded things, it was so good. It's such a tremendous song that you've heard in multiple occasions on all sorts of circumstances, right? I believe the Staples, they were also very involved in the in Dr. Martin Luther King's movement as well, right? I believe so, just some great blues gospel guitar throughout it all. It has all of the great elements and such a great recording as well. I love it. I thought it's a great pick to put here. Is absolutely fantastic.
And the wild thing is, I believe their first public performance was like the late 40s at a church. So yeah, they had a lot of experience performing together, that's for sure. Sadly, Mavis is the only one left. Pops, Cleotha, Purvis, Yvonne, they're all gone now. And she's still making music too. She made an album last year that I played on the year-end episode with Maura. And as well, she also does a great live cover of Slippery People by Talking Heads.
Really?
With Win Butler and Regine Chassagnier.
Really?
It was on like a tribute show that they did with all these guest stars. And it's a fantastic cover, so I recommend people check that one out for sure.
All right, duly noted.
But yeah, Warren, what is your next pick?
Let's head on over to the 1980s, the mid of the 1980s, when everyone was in a good party mood. They just wanted to hear about good things and dance the night away. Let's listen to DeBarge with Rhythm of the Night.
When it feels like the world is on your shoulders and all of the madness has got you going crazy, it's time to get out, step out into the street where all of the action is right there at your feet. Well, I know a place where we can dance the whole night away underneath the electric stars. Just come with me and we can shake the blues right away. You'll be doing fine once the music starts. Oh, to the beat of the rhythm of the night, dance until the morning light. Forget about the words on your mind, you can leave them all behind. To the beat of the rhythm of the night, oh, the rhythm of the night. Oh, yeah.
What a song. What like one of the most identifiable, iconic songs of the 80s here, from the DeBarge family. The album, the lineup on this album here, which was Rhythm of the Night in 1985, included Eldra, Bunny, Mark, Randy, and James DeBarge. So a whole crew of people from the Detroit, Grand Rapids, Michigan area, and signed by Motown. This was put out by Motown. I think like they were really angling and hoping that the DeBarges would be the next Jacksons, right? They'd be the successors to the Jackson 5, and just energetic, spunky, having all of that 80s, like I said, this idea that everything's going well and their optimism, that everything that made like pop mainstream stuff in the 80s. So what's the word I'm looking for? Positive, I guess. I'll just go with that because clearly I'm in a brain fog right now. Just an absolutely phenomenal song, and you can hear something that also happens quite a bit, that you hear quite a bit in the 80s in these pop songs, the steel drums, Andrew, right? You hear a lot of those,
the calypso influence. Yeah,
exactly. You hear a lot of this. Like usually this means, oh, okay, it's gonna be a nice, it's a nice hot night to go outside and party type of thing. You're not gonna lock yourself up in a club. You're gonna go hit up a deck somewhere, a terrace somewhere, and you're gonna dance in the streets. That was a very consistent sound that you'd pick up, and some people even outright benefited from that as well. Miami Sound Machine and so on and so forth. Anyway, a classic song of the 80s.
Well, we should point out this is one of two big songs called Rhythm of the Night. There's the other one called The Rhythm of the Night by Corona, which was just on the show Widow's Bay, which I love a lot. That was the Patty's Dance Party episode. But this is also great. I mean, it's so much fun, and yeah, it hits that same wavelength that another song around this time period does, All Night Long by Lionel Richie.
Correct.
Where it's the pop music mixed in with the R&B and the dance and calypso. Like, if you're at a tourist bar in the Caribbean, or a Senior Frogs or whatever, chances are this song is going to come on. And it's written by Diane Warren, one of the 8 billion hit songs that she wrote. And it's produced by a guy named Richard Perry, who also produced Carly Simon, Diana Ross, Barbra Streisand, Harry Nilsson, and also one of your upcoming picks, Warren. So yeah, there's some real star power behind this one.
I was floored when I found out that this was Diane Warren, and this is like her breakthrough, right? If I'm not mistaken, like this was her first like major hit. Because then I got completely. Then I was like, oh my god, okay. So then it just adds into this already crazy catalog of absolute hits that Diane Warren wrote, right? She wrote the Nothing's Gonna Stop Me from Starship, right? Blame It on the Rain by Milli Vanilli. She did she wrote
If I Could Turn Back Time.
Turn Back Time. Yeah, she wrote a couple of Cher songs, if I'm not mistaken, on top of that. Just crazy stuff. She wrote some Aerosmith songs. It's like just this woman, Michael Bolton. She has a crazy catalog of just like these seminal hits from the late 80s to the mid 90s. It's bonkers. So, to a degree, I'm not surprised, but I was surprised to find out that she was instrumental, that she brought her talents there. It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Well, the crazier thing is, like, you hear a song like this, you think, okay, DeBarge, we are off to the races, the first of many, many hits. No, this is their biggest hit, and the band doesn't last very long after this. Like, Elle and Bunny leave to go solo, and then, drug problems, financial problems. DeBarge were done before the 80s were over. And nowadays, I mean, some of them are dead, some went to prison. It's a real sad story with DeBarge. The complete opposite of the vibes of this song, for sure, Warren. It's nuts.
For sure. There was James, one of the brothers, he eloped with Janet Jackson, too, in 1984. It's just an unfortunate series of circumstances that overtook them. But look, I mean, this is the legacy, one of the most iconic party songs, dance songs, pop songs, whatever you want to call it, of the 1980s. That's what they leave behind.
All right, well, my next pick here, this is a country duo, another pair of brothers. It's the Bellamy Brothers, David and Howard. And speaking of big hits, this is Let Your Love Flow.
There's a reason for the sunshine sky, and there's a reason why I'm feeling so high. Must be the season when that love light shines all around us. So let that feeling grab you deep inside and send you reeling where your love can't hide, and then go stealing through the moonlit nights with your lover. Just let your love flow like a mountain stream, and let your love grow with the smallest of dreams, and let your love show, and you'll know what I mean. It's the season. Let your love fly like a bird on a wing, and let your love bind you to all living things.
So years ago, I was watching one of my favorite shows ever, The Leftovers. And this song is heavily featured in one of the episodes. And it really stuck on me because I've loved it ever since. And it's hard not to love. Like, it's a perfect country pop song. Like, the production and the vocals and the harmonies. It talks about the sun and sunshine and nature. And you can really feel that summer brightness and that sunshine and that fresh air kind of come through with how it sounds. And the story goes, it was written by this guy, Larry E. Williams, who was Neil Diamond's roadie. and Neil didn't want to do it, and it eventually ended up going to the Bellamy Brothers, and it became a #1 hit in the U.S., a big hit overseas as well. So, Neil's loss was David and Howard's gain there, Warren. So, great song that just it makes you feel good, Warren.
Yeah, like you said, it's the harmonies and everything is great about the song, and you kind of feel like the Deal twins would be singing it in a biker bar in Dayton, Ohio somewhere. Funny story. My mom hated this song. When I was growing up, my mom would listen to quite a bit of country music. We would like the standards in my home were typically Loretta Lynn and Kenny Rogers. Those were typically and Hank Williams. Those were typically the standards that we had as far as country goes. And she was very, very picky about everything else. And one of her sisters, when we started getting like cassette tapes and whatnot, she'd send her tapes of all sorts of songs, and she'd, and do little mixtapes, right? Basically is what I'm trying to say. And she would play it, and sometimes we'd get to, well, not sometimes, but when she'd play the cassette that got to Let Your Love Flow, she'd drop whatever she was doing, whether she was cooking, whether she was reading, whatever it was, she'd drop it. She'd go to the cassette player and fast forward until the song had passed. and I asked her, why don't you like the song? I don't like it. I just don't like it. I don't like this song. All right, that's fine. So those are my memories of the Bellamy Brothers and Let Your Love Flow, a song that for me is antithesis to what I feel I should that I feel I should dislike, because my mother taught me to dislike this song.
Well, they have a bunch of other hits on the country charts, so maybe your mom liked one of those. I don't know. But yeah, this was their.
She didn't like this song for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, this was their big pop crossover, and they're still around. They're still touring too. And they even had their own reality TV show, apparently called Honky Tonk Ranch, because they live in a ranch in Florida with like cattle and everything. And they also had their own line of cannabis products. So
good for them.
Yeah, they've been keeping busy for sure. Not resting on their laurels one bit, the Bellamy Brothers. So good for them.
Hopefully they had a good customer in Willie Nelson.
Oh yeah, natural fit. But all right, Warren, what is your second to last pick here?
We're sticking around in the 80s. We're gonna do another classic here, the Pointer Sisters, and I'm so excited.
Tonight we're gonna make it happen. Tonight we'll put all other things aside. Give in this time and show me some affection. We're going for those pleasures in the night. I want to love you, feel you, wrap myself around you. I want to squeeze you, please you. I just can't get enough. And if you move real slow, I'll let it go. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. I'm about to lose control, and I think I like it. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. And I know I want you. We shouldn't even think about tomorrow.
A ubiquitous song by the trio of Ruth, Anita, and June Pointer. Maybe some of your younger listeners, Andrew, will recognize this song as the former theme song for AEW Dynamite. Or was it Collision? It was one
Dynamite.
of the two, right? It was Dynamite, right? Yeah. That I thought was really funny. That was a funny evening where clearly some of the younger fans online were going, why are they bringing out this why are they bringing out this sitcom theme song? I'm like, oh no. Oh no, you're showing your age. It's tremendous. Anyway, not a show. We don't have to talk about it. But the song itself was released in 1982, but then was re-released as a remix in 83, and then it charted in 84. The remix actually was the one that charted, the one that we heard here. That was the one that finally made it, despite having tried previously and failed. Yeah, I mean, look, this was a big deal. It was, it's a huge, again, ubiquitous song. It's one of these songs that you immediately identify with the 1980s as well. First black female group to play the Grand Ole Opry. Did you know this?
I did not.
I mean, not for this song specifically, because
that would be weird. Yeah.
But early in the 70s, they were playing. There were 4 Pointer Sisters. In fact, there was a 4th one, and they were doing more country style songs. They won a Grammy for a song called Fairy Tale in 1974 that was even covered by Elvis Presley later on, and then they went from the country to the disco pop that we all know the Pointer Sisters to be. So, I guess to a degree, like, they just went with the flow, did whatever type of music they felt like doing. They refused to be siloed into a genre, and there you go. I mean, that's the thing. Of course, like a couple of other bands here, I say of course, but kind of a sad introduction to it. But like a couple of the bands here, there was addiction involved, with one of the sisters, June, who left the band in 2004, died of cancer in 2006. But the band still performs as well to this day. Ruth's daughter Issa taking up June's spot in the band. So still continuing on to this day, the Pointer Sisters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, look, if this song doesn't get your toes tapping, then you might be dead. You might be a corpse, because this is a straight up jam right here. And yeah, look, I know people were kind of making fun of this being the Dynamite theme for that one episode. But I'll be honest, just listening to it again, I might have kept it. Like, I might have kept this around for a lot longer, just for the chorus alone. Like, whenever I hear the chorus with all 3 of them going, and the keyboard and the ooh-wee, like, it always gets me. So I definitely approve of this pick. And Richard Perry here again on production. And he produced all of their big hits from the 80s. This, Automatic, Neutron Dance, Jump for My Love. So he had the magic touch to bring them from the 70s into the 80s and give them more of that pop dancey sound, Warren.
I would have 100% kept this song for the opening of Dynamite as well. 100%, Andrew. Tony, that is proof to me that Tony Khan is too much online. Because never mind what the young kids on Twitter are talking about. They don't understand. It's fine. This was a great fit. It was a fantastic fit.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it stands out compared to, the 800 nu metal songs that have been used over the years by every other wrestling show out there. So
exactly. Exactly. We often hear AEW should do things differently to make sure that they stand apart. Well, there you go. There you go.
Get a DeBarge theme in there, get some.
There you go.
Get some 80s calypso music. Let's really kick it up a notch. Come on now. But all right, my second to last pick here. We're going down to the Jay White territory, down in New Zealand, with a band called Split Enz, E-N-Z, featuring the Finn brothers, Neil and Tim. And this is from their album True Colors. This is I Got You.
Look at you, you're a pageant, you're everything that I've imagined, and something's wrong, I feel uneasy, reassure me, tell me you're not teasing.
Sometimes I
this is like the classic example of a song where the sound betrays the lyrics, because musically it sounds like a car song. You know, it has that same vibe, but the song is about a boyfriend who is a little too insecure, a little too clingy with his girlfriend. I got you, that's all I want. I don't go out, not now that you're in, but something's wrong, I feel uneasy. You show me, tell me you're not teasing. There's no doubt, not when I'm with you. When I'm without, I stay in my room. Where do you go? I get no answer. You're always out. It gets on my nerves. So there's something a little wrong with this guy, but at the same time, we're all bopping along to I don't know why sometimes I get fried. It's the classic contrast, and sure enough, this would end up becoming, I believe, the best-selling single in Australian history up to that point, like a few months after this came out. So people were digging it. People were digging it a lot, and I can't blame them, because it's a great song.
Yeah, and I'll be completely transparent. It's a song that I've heard before, but I'm not like it for some reason didn't necessarily stick with me. It's not a song I'm particularly familiar with. I did realize as I was doing research that one of the brothers later moved on to start up Crowded House.
Indeed,
which had true, like I don't want to real, not even real, like big international success. How about that? In the 80s, and these days I think they're still recording, or at least they're doing the nostalgia tours and whatnot. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I like this, very jaunty, very interesting. Like, yeah, the synths that just pop in at some point during the song. I'm like, oh, holy smokes! Okay, we're really experimenting, trying some stuff out. I love this era of the '80s where everyone started using synths, or at least a lot of people did, and we're like, okay, what kind of sounds can we do? Wow, this is really cool. And then they started adding in, I kind of feel like it's, it must have been similar maybe a decade and a half earlier when people started getting access to theremins. We're like, how can we add a theremin to this song here, type of thing. It's a good song, and quite frankly, I paid more attention to it in the lead up to this edition of Music of the Mat than I had ever listened to previously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny. They actually started out as like a prog rock band in the early 70s, and it wasn't until Neil joined and they switched over to the new wavy pop sound that they actually got some hits, which is a pretty common tale for many a prog rock band. And
right.
And yeah, as you said, Neil and Tim would go on to be in Crowded House together and get more hits with that band. So yeah, the Finn brothers have two of the biggest Kiwi bands of all time. So that's a nice feather in their cap for sure.
For sure, absolutely. I get big. The new wave pop, like the XTC type of vibe. That's what I get a lot from this song specifically.
All right, Warren, what is your last pick of the episode?
My last pick is going to be from the Montreal band, The Deers. Song is called Lost in the Plot.
All the reasons beat the crap out of me. Every day when I wake up, they are waiting. But I promise not to cry anymore. 'Cause it's the same old but for these things. Oh, it's the same old but for these things. Oh, it's the same old but for these things. Oh, it's the same old.
I love this song. I love the Deers coming out from this, from the great explosion of the Montreal scene of the early 2000s. We were listening to the voice of Murray Lightburn, who is also the lead guitarist and the songwriter of the band. And he is married to the keyboardist, Natalia Janczak. They've been a couple for a long time. The band actually started in the mid 90s, but really found its footing. At the during that explosion time in Montreal in the 2000s. And Lost in the Plot is it's such a tremendous song and such great songwriting as well. You know, the angle of this song is devotion. It's like a duet of devotion. You know, the refrain talks about our love, don't mess with our love. So there was a lot of speculation where well, I mean, not a lot of speculation, but you sort of listen to this and you're like, oh, well, this is about them and their relationship and so on and so forth. But Lightburn, in a couple of interviews, it's also said that no, like I'm talking about a big love, you know, a big over encompassing love that can shield the world from everything bad, you know, that we all should have as people, right? As humans sharing this marble that we're on, not just boyfriend girlfriend love. So that's tremendous, and they've had a solid amount of success. I don't think like it's one of the most memorable bands to come out of that era. They did have a solid amount of success in that period, but not necessarily the band that you think about. But they're still around. They're still doing. They're still touring. They're still recording. You know, Lightburn even at some point was referred to because of his very personal, emotional songwriting was referred to as the Black Morrissey. Well, you can rest assured that Murray Lightburn pushed back on that, and not only did he, but also his wife. And they're like, no. This is not a label that we want to have stick with us moving forward.
Well, when I was listening to it, I was thinking, this guy sounds a lot like Morrissey. Like, he even talks about crying a lot, which is a very Morrissey thing to do.
True.
And yeah, sure enough, look him up and the nickname Black Morrissey. So I was on the money there at least. But I will say, at the end, you know, when he's going, oh, it's the same old blood these days, like that's when the comparison ends, I think, because he can really belt it out. Yeah. I think with a lot more, you know, strength there than Morrissey does. But yeah, I never heard of this band before, but I really like this one a lot. So I'll check more of them out for sure, Warren.
It's a great band.
All right, so my last pick. This is a duo of brothers, the Male Brothers, Ron and Russell. With their band Sparks, and they put out an album last year called Mad! ! And I picked a song of theirs called Running Up a Tab at the Hotel for the Fab.
Running up a tab at the hotel for the fab. Got a feeling that you're hungry. Got a feeling that you're thirsty. Got a feel. So I ordered up some champagne and fromage, living large. But don't spoil your dinner on some camembert. Running up a tab at the hotel for the fab. Running up a tab at the hotel for the fab.
So if you've ever wondered, do I know Sparks? Trust me, they're hard to forget. I mean, looks alone, you know, Ron has this like pencil thin mustache and the suits and the scowl. He's got slicked back hair, white bathing suit, lives for New Year's Eve. He's motionless when he plays on stage, whereas Russell is very animated. and their music is equally quirky, but it can still be accessible. Like, they do have hits. So they are like art pop to a T. And making a song about a guy who wants to impress his girl, so he orders all this champagne and fromage and salmon at a fancy hotel that he can't pay for, and he ends up in Rikers Island, and it's like hypnotic and like keyboard stabby, burr, 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 all at once. Like, that's right in line with what they do. So yeah, it's hard to really explain Sparks. You kind of have to listen to them yourselves and just take them in. But I like them more for sure.
Yeah, no, they're well, as far as the that art pop scene, like, and they've been doing this for a while. Right?
They've been around.
They've been around a long time. They've been around longer than I have, just to give you that impression. Yeah, you know, I think if you know, David Byrne, you know, John Cale, Talking Heads, and all that stuff, Devo, if you're into that kind of music, I think Sparks is absolutely right up your wheelhouse. You've probably even already heard of them if you are. I mean, look, they're absolutely unique in their presentation, and all of this time, despite the fact that they've been around for 50 odd years or whatever, no public feuding here, Andrew. Like, they've, you know,
they're tight. They're still tight. They're very much not a Liam and Noel and not a Ray and Dave. Like, they are.
No.
They are tight together for sure.
If they are arguing, they're doing the right thing and doing it behind closed doors and whatnot. You know, they're keeping it private. But yeah, I mean, I think that's something to be notable. That's something notable here to pull it up here.
Mm-hmm. And still very much active. I mean, Russell is 77, Ron's 80. They're still getting it done. They did a song this year actually with Gorillaz on their new album called The Happy Dictator that is fantastic. And again, these guys have been making music since the late 60s. So, you know, they are not slowing down, apparently. They're going to keep going until the wheels fall off. And if it's as good as this song is, then yeah, I'm all for it. So
absolutely. And they've got quite a palette of fans, of musicians who have called themselves fans, like ranging from Beck to Weird Al. You know, it's like it really does run the gamut. And, you know, they're a tremendous band, absolutely tremendous band.
All right, well, those were our picks. That was the episode. Warren, we had some side-eyeing, some mistrust perhaps between us, but at the end of the day, our bloodline is strong, and this was a very strong episode. A lot of fun as always, Dan, so thanks so much for being here.
Andrew, you will always be my OTC QB1. That's what you will always be to me. Thank you very much for having me, Andrew. I appreciate it tremendously. Like, it's always a blast joining you and talking about music. It's so much fun, and I guess this is where I tell people where to find me.
Indeed. Any plugs you want to give? Go right ahead.
Mr. Warren Hayes is the name. The Mr. Warren Hayes Show is the name of the podcast. I do stuff over on YouTube, youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes, or on your favorite podcast application. I have a little portfolio site. If you don't know where to look for me, if you're not quite sure where to find, I should say where to find my stuff, MrWarrenHayes.show on the internet is the best place to find everything relative to what I do. I also write for Voices of Wrestling on occasion, so you can go check that out there as well. So there you go.
All right, yeah, Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network, all the great shows on there, voicesofwrestling.com, previews, reviews, articles, things like that. Bluesky at Music of the Mat, and at Just Andrew on Bluesky. If you want to leave a comment about this episode, share your picks, voicesofwrestling.com/Discord. That's also where I post the Spotify playlist for each episode. And of course, make sure to subscribe to the show on Apple, Spotify, or your podcast player of choice, and leave a nice rating and review. All right, so the playout song for today, we're going to go back to the 90s with Stone Temple Pilots. a band that has had some rotten luck with its lead singers. Scott Weiland and Chester Bennington have both left us now, sadly. But the rest of the band has remained the same throughout. It's Eric Kretz and the DeLeo brothers, Dean and Robert. I picked a song from their second album, Purple. This is Vaseline. Thanks again, Warren.
Thank you.
One time a thing occurred to me. What's real and what's for sale? Blew a kiss and tried to take it home. It's a you, it's a me. Search for things that you can't see. Going round and reach somewhere in. Two times and it has rendered me punch drunk and without bail. Think I'd be safer all alone. Flies in the Vaseline we are. Sometimes it blows my mind. Keep getting stuck here all the time. It's a you, it's a me. Search for things that you can't see. Going round out of reach. Somewhere in Vaseline.
Music of the Mad is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. The songs used throughout this show are property of their respective copyright holders.
My name is Tyler Fornes, and I am one of the co-hosts of the Good, the Bad, and the Hungy AEW podcast here on the Voice of Wrestling Podcasting Network. We take a broad scope approach to the world of All Elite Wrestling and the entire universe of Tony Khan. We talk about the big matches, the big stars, the promos, the storylines, and we also look at it from a big picture perspective. How are things going to change over the course of the next 10 years with AEW still in the picture? How are companies like WWE going to adapt and adjust to AEW? Are they going to be a similar way like they did with WCW in the late 1990s? Will there be a counterpunch? We talk about all of that and more on The Good, the Bad, and the Hungy every week on the Voice of Wrestling Network.